Today, as a part of this video, I would like to share the knowledge that I have gained from my experience of working with the cloud application programming model. So CAPM is a very huge term or kind of very much into discussion these days into the market. So let's focus on what is CAP, what is cloud application programming, and we would be creating a sample first program as a part of which we would be able to generate the backend architecture, or let's just say backend service, what CAP is capable of generating. So I can say let's just start with a CAPM and let's just say getting started with CAP. Okay. Now, when I think about a CAP, of course we know CAP is nothing but a cloud application programming model. But what does it contain? As an application, what is the capabilities? Okay, so the purpose, okay, why actually CAPE came into picture is these days everything is moving to cloud. Okay, and we need something which can back our backend services, which can generate the backend services to support the UI Fiori, or I can say SAP UI5 application. So purpose of CAP is to generate the OData services required to run the, I can say, SAP UI5 or Fiori application. Doing this kind of different to what your SAP ERP or HANA system is capable of. They are able to generate the services, the backend services, then you would need some sort of integrator, some sort of mediator where you can register your service and those services would be usable. But when it comes to CAP, CAP is internally connected to that of the BTP platform. So if you see over here, what is the platform that we are going to use over here for our particular project development? So that would be nothing but business application studio that is being provided as a service as a part of the SAP BTP tool. So BTP platform is providing the service as SAP business application studio. That is something we would be using. So let's just start with the first step. If I want to generate the first CAP project, what would be my first step? How I can generate it into my system? Let's consider I am picking this projects repository, or let's just say projects directory over here. So I'll just move to my projects and I want to generate my first CAP project. So when I talk about a CAP project, it consists of two component. Okay, it consists of two component. I can say it need a data model plus it need a application server, or I can say service layer. When I talk about a database layer, for example, okay, so here I would have a database layer, and same way I would have a, let me just demonstrate it differently so it would be easy to understand, that I want an application server layer as well. Now when we talk about a CAP, the application server layer supports till these days two different languages. Okay, if I name those would be nothing but a Node.js or Java. So these are the two languages that we can use for our development purpose. Okay, but for a person who is having some experience into SAP but now want to start his career, or let's just say now want to learn the cloud technology overnight, learning altogether new technology, or let's just say new languages, I am not saying it would be impossible, but it might take some time. Okay, when we are already starting with something, or let's just say if you are already having some sort of experience in a web, right? So CAP is capable of generating the normal application OData services where all the CRUD operations are being provided out of the box. Okay, so CAP is providing all the basic CRUD operation, or I can say basic REST API functionality, that's what I would like to name it as. Basic REST API functionality are supported out of the box. When I say out of the box, it means all you have to do is define how your data model would be looking alike. So when I say data model, what it would be? Okay, data model may be containing of, let's just start today with a table. Okay, we would be having a series of session that we would be having on this particular topic cap, because it's a vast topic. So let's just say in today's session, let's just start DB layer, where the DB layer would be consisting of a table, for example. I can say, for example, this is not the only thing which a table, which a DB layer can contain, but let's just start with a table. Okay, and DB layer in terms of a cap, what we are naming it as a data model. That's what we ideally call it as. Okay, so let's just say if this is the structure, how a cap project would be looking alike. Okay, in this application server layer, how cap ideally name it as? They name it as a SRV. This is for the service layer. Now, how I can generate the cap project into my business application studio? All you have to do is you can write CDS init, and for example, I would like to generate my first cap project. So I can say cap. What we are going to generate? A backend service. I can say BE, and I can say products. For example, we would be taking an example of a products, materials, which can be part of some plants, right? So I can say enter. The moment you do that, and if you just say ls, you would be able to find that that particular project just got generated. Okay, now if you want to open that particular folder, I'll just say open that folder, and here in the projects repository, okay, let me just open the whole project, whatever projects I do have in my particular workspace. Okay, whenever you try to open a particular folder, or I can say workspace, it would reload the whole development environment for you. So you would get a dedicated environment where only the project which you are willing to work would be visible. So after you followed my first step, okay, so if I just say I want to follow my, if you want to follow along, what you can do is, okay, I can say steps. The first step I can say type command cds init and name of project. Okay, and it should generate a project or a cap project in your workspace. So this should be our first step. Afterward, what you can see over here is the DB folder. The DB folder we already mentioned. It is nothing but your data model. Afterward, we do have a SRV, or I can say service layer. Okay, as it's a, I can say a remote SDK, it might take some time to load based on your network speed or something. Okay, so let's just give it some time. If you just click on this, initially these folders would be empty. Okay, now if you see, I do have this folder which are currently empty. Now, as I mentioned, what I am willing to create over here is a table. For example, I want to create a table. I can say a products table, which is containing the data of a products. I want to expose those information, the products information, which is available in my table layer. I want to expose that to the world outside, so that I can build a UI application on top of that, and it can, the UI application can consume that OData service. Okay, so I'll just say right click on your DB folder and just say data model. Now the name data model, this is just a convention which everyone is following, whoever is working on a CAP project, but it can be anything. So you are free to choose any name of the data model file. The only thing that you should be following is the extension of the file. The extension of this file should always be a CDS. Let's wait for a minute. I think due to some network connection, it's taking some time. data model.cds. So the CDS extension should be there. Okay, now I'll say okay. So this file should get generated. This would be my data model file. So here, as I mentioned, the service layer would be containing, in case we are writing any sort of custom logic, or I can say custom handlers, then these are the language that we should be following. Currently, if you follow the CDS init command, then it would go with the Node.js. And here in the DB layer, mostly it would generate everything using a file with an extension called file with extension .cds. Okay, so now I can see a file just got generated. Now, as we do have it in ABAP, that we ideally do have a namespace which is starting with Z, which is starting with Y. That is those are the only few namespace which are openly available for a customer development that we can use for any sort of table or a view or any database artifact we want to generate. Here in CAP, we do have a liberty. We can generate any database artifact with whatever naming convention we want. For example, if I want to give a namespace, I can say namespace over here, and I would be generating a namespace, for example, cap.be. So whatever component that would get generated over here would have a namespace called cap_be. These names would get converted into a uppercase, and underscore would be something that would be replacing your dot. In case I want to create a table in a CDS or in a data model, everything that you would be writing would be in a form of an entity. So to generate a table, I'll write entity. For example, I want to generate a products table. Okay. And here, whenever I am generating a table, what a table would ideally contain? A name of a column, the component which is a primary key or a non-primary key that we would be specifying, and the data type, right? So I'll just say I want a key with an ID, and let's just say I want it to be string, hypothetically, let's just say 36 character. I want the name of a particular product. I can say string, let's just say I want to give a liberty of having it as 20 to 55 characters. Okay. Um, let's just say the product is also having some sort of originator, or let's just say supplier from where I am getting that particular product. Okay, let's just create a separate table for that. For a product, let's just say I do also have a group, like we do have a material group. I can say product group, where actually this product would be belonging to. So I can say a product group. Let's just say that particular product is a I can say aluminum, steel, or let's just say based on the property of that product, I want to give a product group. So I can say any, let's just say 50 character product I want to give. We would are starting with a simple table over here. Okay. Now, whenever we were working with an ABAP, we used to have a functionality that in case we are going wrong somewhere, I can do a syntax check. I can figure out easily in case I am doing some sort of mistake. Here, we do have a terminal based interface. So we already opened a terminal where we write your R command. Same way, over here, you can open your particular project repository, project folder where you are working in, and you can write CDS watch. Okay. The moment you say CDS watch, it would keep on watching your project. So what it is saying, okay, if we just scan this, what it is saying is that it is connected to a in-memory database. It is connected to a database which is in memory. Okay, we can connect to a HANA database also. We would be seeing in our upcoming video series where we would be seeing how this particular in-memory database can be converted to a HANA database. But for now, if you see, we do have a database, but we don't have any service definition. When I say a service definition, what does it mean? We don't have something which would expose my product's information. So what I'll do is, for that, I'll just generate a file called, let's just say, product service.cds. So all the files, or let's just say main two pillars, the data model and the service would be generated using a CDS files. The moment you say enter, it, any sort of save, any new file generation, whatever you do, it would open up a new screen, or and it would recompile your program to give you any sort of error in case you are doing any sort of mistake. Now, I want to use these particular products and expose that to the world outside. So what I'll do is I'll just say using, and here I'll be what I want to use. I want to use this products table that just got created. Can you see the error that got generated? Because I have not completed my statement. So that is that prompt. I want to use the all the component which are having this namespace. Okay, and I can name it as a CB, for example, CAPBE as CB, where I want to get those components from. So I can say from. The moment you start typing, you would get in your parent folder. So currently we are in SRV. So in the parent folder in the DB, there is a data model which is containing this particular namespace. In case I want to generate a service, I'll just say service, and I can say product service. Okay, and here I'll just say enter. So this is generating a product service. Now, if you see now the error that I was getting earlier, that it's not exposing any service, is gone. Now I do have a service, but it is empty. In case I want to expose that particular service products, what I can do is I can name how I want to expose that. All of this what you are seeing over here are called passive, or I can say non-expose entities. It means it's not exposed to the world outside. In case I want to expose that, okay, so I can choose whatever name I want to expose it with. So for example, I want to expose it with a entity. I want to call it as a product. Okay. All the data that this product would be providing to the world outside should be coming from. So I'll just say as entity product should be generated as it is selecting the data from the CB dot. You see, this products is getting proposed. Okay, we would be extending this service and with all the security architecture and all going forward. But if you see, this is currently a service that just got generated, which is serving currently being served as a all 04 port. If I open it in new tab, you would be able to see that I am having a service metadata getting generated with the latest OData service version 4.0, and that OData service version 4.0 is having the entity product that you just expose. Okay, and in case we want to go one more step forward, okay, and we only want this particular service, whatever we are exposing, only for read only. So currently whatever service you expose would have a capability of creation, updation, deletion. But let's just say you are creating a service where you don't want anyone to update or create anything. Instead, we just want that it should, the application which is getting generated on this OData service should only have the capability to read the data. Then we do have a vast bunch of annotation library. I can say read only, for example. That is one of the annotation. And what it would do is it would make my service, or let's just say this particular entity, read only. So in a service, I can have n number of entity. Depending on the requirement, I can choose what to make a read only, what to make a particular, what particular capability I want to grant it to. For example, the moment I say it's a read only one, I am able to see that the delete restriction has this deletable has been set to false, the insertable and the updatable has also been set to false. So the user would only be able to see the data and won't be able to perform anything, any sort of operation. Okay, if I save this, then I would be having a entity with a all the CRUD operations enable. Okay, let's just say I want to do all this testing in my local. So I can, the BAS, the Business Application Studio has also a REST client integrated with that. I can say test.http, and the moment you generate any file with the HTTP, you can write n number of HTTP commands, or let's just say any sort of call that you want to make. For example, I want to make a get call. You would write a triple hash to separate out multiple command. Let's just say one get call, you are triggering one post call. To separate out each of them, go with a triple hash. I can say get service metadata, and here I just say get, and it would propose me this, and here you can simply write the same URL that you are able to see over here. The name of the service you can get from here. So it says product metadata. The moment you click get over here, it would be loading this service in a form of a metadata for you over here. In case you want to get data for a particular entity, for example, I want the data for a product entity. Okay, then I'll just say product. For example, I want to get all the products. I can say get all products. And as you can see, it is saying that currently product table does not have any information, and that's why it's not being responded with any data. Okay. Let's say I want to go one more step forward. So whenever I want any sort of functionality, okay. So as I mentioned, the service layer over here is supported by a Node.js, and Node.js is built off of all the packages. Okay. In case I want to generate OData v2 service as well, along with that of the OData v4, what I can do is I can simply search for any Node.js package which can generate or which can help me with this proxy. So I can say Node.js package to convert OData v2 proxy. As you can see, you would find a package. Now, all you have to do is just follow the standard documentation, whatever it is saying, and it would help you to generate a proxy for this. There is some issue with this website. Okay, let's just copy the name of the package. I can say copy npm package. Okay, can you see there is a package, and there are a list of steps already mentioned that in case you are working with a CDS combined cap Node.js application, all you have to do is you have to say npm install the package. Just copy this, paste it over here, and it would install a package for a OData v2 proxy. Till the time it gets installed, let's see what other thing it is mentioning. Then you have to create a server.js file in the service folder srv, and it should contain this code. And once you execute your program, it would generate two services, OData v2 and the OData v4 at the same time. So I'll just copy this code, go over here, and I'll just say server.js. And here I'll just mention this code. I'll just save this. Now let me just rerun this. I'll just again say CDS watch. Now as you can see over here, the product service is getting served, and it also write proxy rewrite rule v2 got generated. So the moment you say that I want to get this metadata, you click on this, you would be able to get a v4 version. If you just refresh this, well, let's just say if I just go one more step back, and if you just refresh this, you would find that there are two services that just got generated. OData v4, that would be default. If you just click on this, this would be my v2. So here it is mentioned OData service version 2.0. If you write v2 product metadata, it means just before this particular service name, if you just mention V2 like this, it would give you the service loaded with a OData version 2.0. If you want to get the service information, you can just say get link, and you can see the output coming in a version of a OData 2.0. In case I want to load any particular product, or let's just say insert product detail. Just say I want to generate a post call. We can say I want a post call on a product using which I would be able to load some sort of JSON data, and it should contain all the properties. So what all properties it would contain? It would contain ID, name and product group. So I can say ID, I can say P01, name, for example, I can say still, and for example, product group, here I can say metal. The moment you say post over here, a product would get generated, and if you just say get, it would give you all the information of available products over here. So likewise, you can generate a OData service in less than 20 minutes to have your Fury applications working. So this is you can consider this as your beginning in the world of a CAP, cloud application programming model. So maybe we can conclude this particular video for now with this particular knowledge. Going forward, I'll also tell you how, other than table, what all components we can generate as a part of OData services that is being generated using CAP, how we can implement the security architectures, what other interesting things are there that works out of the box in a CAP. Like if you see what we did, we just write an entity, we just generated a product service. This code that we just wrote is just for our testing purpose. Okay, but this 6 line of code help you generate a OData service with all the functionality that an entity would need. Same way, there are plenty more functionalities that I'll be coming back to you, and maybe we all can grow in the same direction. If you like the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. So in future, whatever video series I'll be uploading around this technology and all the other upcoming new technologies, you would get a direct notification for that. Thank you.